So, I'm Rhonda,
I'm Reggie.
and this is another episode of
Ranji Talk.
So, it's 2025. There's a lot going on in the world. But I think today I want to talk about something that's trending or that has been trending for me and would like to get your male perspective. And that is about relationships. So, I read that I think it's 50 and up. The divorce rate is up 50%. And also, for people that are younger, marriage is down a lot. I don't remember the percentage, but it's a lot. So people are not getting married, and people who are married as they get older are getting divorced. And so I have some thoughts on why that is, but I think I would really like to get your male perspective. So for me, I feel like younger people, which I think is personally, I think it's good that younger people, like especially before 30, are not getting married because you really need time to figure out who you are, what you want, get through school if you're going to do the school, figure out what kind of career or job or business you want to have, and get kind of all that stuff rolling.
Right.
Start getting some money, travel, date, kind of figure it out before you get married. Because I feel like when you do it too soon, that's when the divorce rate was really high, when people were just jumping and getting married. And I also feel like people over 50 that are getting divorced are probably the people that did get married young and felt like they had to stay married because they were raising a family. And now that the kids are grown and gone, they feel like they don't have to stay, and so they're getting a divorce. Or either they just feel like they want to do something totally different or opposite than their partner, and they can't agree on how they want to live their life going forward, being retired, and so they just part ways. I know a lot of people, and you probably have this mindset, and I'm not against staying married forever. I think that's good if you can find a partner that you can do that with, but I also feel like you're responsible for your own happiness. You know, that's my favorite saying. And that if something is not working for you, you should be comfortable enough in yourself to do something different.
Interesting.
So what do you think?
Well, taking into perspective the subject of marriage, young and old, I think some of the things you said are probably true. That some older people might have got married too young. But I think a big factor of it is social media and just media in general, being able to have so many different views of different lifestyles that people are leading. Reality TV has brought forth a lot of stuff, I think, that's changed people's opinions about stuff. Um, some of the oddity shows, sister wives, seeking sister wives, polygamy families, escaping polygamy, all this different kind of stuff has broadened people's minds to these other lifestyles that they didn't know about, but seeing them on television made it a little bit more palatable for some people. I mean, I'm sure some people probably don't like it, some of those different shows, but it's some people saw it and said, oh, I've always wondered, and maybe I'd like to try it, and blah, blah, blah. As far as young people not getting married as much, I think it has a lot to do with, I think it's good too. I think it's good for anybody to wait a good period of time. Not to say that young people can't get married or that they shouldn't, but I think overall, I think the majority of young people should wait until they're older to get married because finances change. You need to find out what career you want to be in. You need to figure out where you want to live, what region you want to live in, before you start falling in love and whatnot and getting into a deep relationship. There's so many things you have to figure out about yourself. And everybody knows that the front lobe of the brain doesn't begin to develop until you're like 26, 27. Sometimes even it takes up to 30.
I think for women, it's more like 25, 26.
Okay. Well, I think that that's important to take all that into perspective, that it's a multitude of factors. It's how, like I said, information and people's access to different information has made them rethink their lives. Um, Older people getting divorced, I can see that because um, with the especially with a lot of the women empowerment movements over the last years, it's all been about being equal to men or being feeling that I'm just as important as a man, which I feel a woman should do. But I think a lot of that brought about a lot of breakups in relationships. Women who might have missed out on doing something in their 30s because they were being supportive of a husband. And for whatever reason, that husband may seem, they might have had a falling out with their husband because they felt, well, he's ungrateful. I've raised our children. I've been his accountant and this and that, and da da da. He takes all of the credit. I hear a lot of those stories out here. Um, those are some of the stories that I've seen on the internet. So I don't know if it's a lot of that, or if people just kind of trolling people to just get stories out there, and you was gonna divorce your husband anyway because y'all just didn't get along anymore. But I think that does play a part into it. Women being empowered, men not being used to women being empowered, especially if you were the head of the household, and then all of a sudden at 40 your wife's like, well, I want to start doing this and I want to take more part in your business and this and that. You're like, whoa, wait a minute, it's never been that way up till now. So I think that plays a part in it. And I think people are more comfortable with growing apart nowadays. I think people have come to terms with, you know, you can't always just be everything to everybody forever. You have to learn how to compromise. Um,
So, do you think that you can come to a place where you collectively, as a couple, decide or recognize that you can't be everything to each other, but still coexist in a
sure,
relationship?
sure. I mean, and that's the whole beauty of it nowadays. People can still coexist together and not be together in the same way. Not be all up on each other. Like I'm sure there's plenty of couples out there now in their 50s and 60s and whatnot, and the wife is like, well, I always want to travel, and the husband's like, well, go ahead, you just gonna do your thing and travel and do what you're gonna do. And the husband, if he wants to sit at home and be a couch potato, he can be a couch potato. You may like traveling the world, going to Italy. You might like art fairs or different events around the country and different stuff during the season stuff, festivals, music festivals, or whatever. And he might just want to stay at home and play softball and golf in his latter years. He don't want to travel no more. Like when you're married, you spend a lot of time compromising, doing things for each other. But I think as you get older and your better days are behind you, and you don't have as many days looking forward, you become more selfish with your time.
Yeah.
I think that's what it has a lot to do with. It's like, look, I've done this all this time. We raised kids together. We've done this, work, and this and that. I just want to do this. This is what I want to do. I want to either drink my beer or drink my Yaki Dak, whatever, listen to music, make beats in the studio, uh, have your own man cave to work on an old car or something like that. Do what you want to do. Women, you know, you get a pottery wheel or something. Your kids have grown up and left, so you start a hobby or something, a painting. Get your canvases, get your oil, your paints, whatever. Start a women's reading club or something like that, and y'all meet over there every week and read books and sit around and talk. And you want to be more social now.
Yeah.
You might have enjoyed being more social, but you was raising kids and doing stuff. So now's your time to do it. So you just naturally become more self-absorbed in the things that you want to do, while trying to find a compromise with that person you're still with, and still be able to move forward together. I think that is pretty much the silver lining that people are looking for at an older age, that are finding that they are at odds. And I think it's just coming to reality that what you base your marriage on a lot of times is hearsay and what people tell you anyway. You just don't realize until you get older.
Yeah, because I feel like, if people um, would do what you were just talking about and start the marriage that way. Like, have time where you spend together, especially if you have kids, you do the family thing, or you have your date nights or whatever, you still do that. But if you start the marriage where you still have your separate things, like you still have your time with the boys, she still have her time with her friends. If you do that in the marriage, because so many people cut those other people off, but if you still have your own life and your family time or your date time with your mate in the marriage when it's new, then you're not missing out on the things. And then when you're 50, you're not going to say, oh, I wish I had done it, because you've been doing it the whole time.
Right.
And I think that is one of the ways to have a healthy marriage. I just feel like there's no one really talking about how to have a healthy marriage. And even when you go to church and get counseling or all that kind of stuff, I don't feel like they have a true perspective on how to teach you in the church. That's just my opinion on how to have a healthy marriage.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't think either one of us is trying to say the church doesn't, but it seems like, I mean, if the church did, I think there wouldn't be so many people.
Yeah, because church people that go to church have just as many marital problems as people that don't. So I don't think that that's a cure for it.
Right. And I think, sometimes the church, I think maybe pastors, I don't know. It's been a long time since I've really messed around with any churches or anything like that. But I think that they have a thing where they try to stick climbing. Well, it says in the Bible, and in Psalm so-and-so, and the Lord saith to thee, unto thee, and them if they, all of that, that kind of stuff, not to make fun of, the lingo and stuff, but you know what I'm saying, pastors, like preachers, pastors, and priests, like, I just don't believe that they are like totally in touch with the real world. Like, they have so much stuff to do, like food drives and different stuff, and they busy going around. They gotta wear their little thing and go around like, oh, praise you, and oh, thank you, and
pray for people.
And people, they don't really have the time to really get into like marital relationship type of stuff. So they can only go by some structured.
Well, a lot the ones that are married do have time because they're living it day to day, so they have an example of their own marriage.
But even them, like the first lady, she runs the women's the food, clothes drive, and blah blah blah. This and the kids' car wash activities and this.
But they still go home to each other. Is what I'm saying. They still have a home life.
Yeah, but they don't deal with a lot of the same stuff. People, they got a lot of stuff to distract them from stuff, and I'm sure they have problems in being close to each other.
Yeah.
Because they're doing so much for so many other people.
Yeah.
So I think that's rough for them. But I'm talking about, I don't think that they can relate to people who on a time schedule have to deal with each other at a certain time. Like I said, I believe it's my opinion, and this is me growing up as a boy to a man, young man, older man, being a senior now. Technically, I'm a senior. I just generally believe that in general, men and women don't like each other. They don't really like each other. Like the things that they do. Hold on, let me finish. They don't like each other. They like the way each other look, smell, hair, muscles, or something. Whichever you're looking at, they like each other to that. And then they compromise because they want that in their life. Ooh, I'd love to be on his arm, but the things he do, you may not like. You don't want to play softball and football with him. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's not to say some women that won't get into softball and football. I don't want to say that. But the majority of women are not being raised and taught how to play baseball, just like the majority of men aren't being taught how to necessarily cook or sew or clothing coordination, braiding hair.
So you're talking about two different things. So you're talking about, yes, in my opinion.
Okay.
You're talking about men and women not liking the things that each other does, but you're also talking about men and women not liking each other. For example, and I agree with you that in today's society, it's more and more prevalent that men do not like women. Not what they do, but men do not like women. They don't like the fact that they need a woman. They don't like the fact that they need this woman for whatever, to nurture them, to have their children, to help take care of the household, to have sex with.
Is it that they want the woman for that because they don't need the women. I mean,
yeah, they want her for that,
right.
but they don't like the fact that they need a woman.
They have a want.
Yes.
They have a want because you don't need.
Yes, because men have this whole ego and this whole complex about being strong and, you know, independent or whatever. Yeah. But I think the other side to that part is that men don't like women, in my opinion. The ones that don't like women, the reason they don't like them is because they recognize that women are more powerful than we realize, because over time society has flipped the script and has made everyone think that men are the powerful ones. But really, I think that it used to be that women were in power, and somehow the script got flipped and they tricked our asses.